Hi folks, last time you'll have seen I showed you this bit of desert ironwood on this lovely Taylor's Eyewitness Barlow. Beautiful bit of ironwood. I'm quite taken with ironwood. I showed you also the bokeh that I've got in ironwood. Well, I've got another one. And this one is again a Taylor's Eyewitness, again ironwood, but this time it's in there what they call the gentleman's clip shape. I'm not sure this bit of ironwood is as spectacular as some of the others, but it's still a lovely bit of wood. I probably should have shown you this one first, because it's the least spectacular of the three. I mean, this is just a phenomenal bit of wood. And although it's got all that figuring in it, there's almost no, no warping, no knots or anything like that give it any cracks. It's just a lovely solid piece of wood. Anyway, take these out of it. We'll just have a wee look at this. Now, this is the gentleman's clip. I've already shown you one that I have, which was in a beautiful bit of mother of pearl with the file work on the spine. This one again has that lovely file work on the spine, which goes up into the blade and also follows right around the tail of the knife. Now, unlike a Barlow, well, this is a Barlow really. I mean, in many ways, you could simply call this a slim Barlow. You know, like you have a slim trapper or whatever, you could have a slim Barlow, because it has a lot of the traits of a Barlow. To get that hand out of the way, let's lift that out of the way, cast a big shadow, in that you've got this, again, the sort of teardrop shape with the long bolster, but unlike the Barlow, it's much slimmer, very slightly longer, but basically the whole thing is slimmed down. So you've got a clip point blade, but you've got a thin clip point blade here. You've got a fat, chunky, almost like a Bowie shaped blade on the Barlow. You've got the teardrop handle, and they're both, say, in ironwood, but the Barlow is just that bit chunkier, and this is just that little bit thinner. And in terms of profile, again, there's not a lot in it, actually, to be honest. The gentleman's clip is a bit thinner, particularly at the bolster end. Handle end is probably fairly similar. In terms of construction and so forth, you've got the brass liners, the same steel. You've got the long bolsters in nickel silver in both cases, and the ironwood. The bolsters on the gentleman's clip, not as long as the Barlow, but again, in terms of raw numbers, you have a knife which has a, oops, get that straight, a clearly sub 3 inch, so 2 3/4, 2 5/8 cutting edge, 2 3/4 overall, and a 6.5 inch length, whereas the Barlow is about 6 inches, pretty much dead. But these do make a really nice little knife to carry in the pocket. They make a very good fruit knife. And I mean, I know people seem to think that collector's knives really ought to be carbon steel. I like stainless steel, because if I'm cutting my apple or whatever, I want my knife to stay shiny. So if it's stainless steel, it's easy enough to clean that up, and it stays nice and shiny. A wee strop to keep them sharp. These do come, there seems to be a modern day traditional Sheffield thing of knives coming out of the factory. Blunt, Arthur Wright, Joseph Rogers, George Wostenholme, all of them now produce knives which have a sort of close to sharp but not at all sharp edges on them. Lee seems to make his knives sharp. This one incidentally was a Lee White, a Lee White made knife, so all of this work is done freehand. All that file work, it does that. I mean, you could argue it's a relatively simple, straightforward thing, and if you've done your apprenticeship and trained hard, then you'll know how to do that, and you could probably do it in your sleep. But nonetheless, it is done freehand. It is done by a man using a couple of files to make those marks into the back of that knife, and it is lovely and even and sharp, and that's not necessarily the case with every maker. I mean, for example, this is an Arthur Wright, and you see their file work. I don't know if it's supposed to be random, but it's just not balanced and even, which I find a little bit disappointing. But we'll be coming to that at some point in the not too distant future. Anyway, so there we are. That's a gentleman's clip. I really like these knives. I think they're very practical, usable knives, and I would recommend one of these as a pocket knife. If you want, I recommend the Barlow as well. I think the Barlow is a very practical pocket knife, but these make a very useful, lightweight, non-threatening, small, easy carry, but with a decent usable length of blade. There's you can certainly cut up your apple or whatever. Apple's the thing I always like to cut up. But you can cut up whatever it is that you want to eat with one of these very comfortably, and it's a very stylish and beautiful knife. So that's really all I've got to say about this one. If you like this, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see some more of these, and there are more coming, then please subscribe. Thank you very much.